From the studios of MLSsoccer.com, welcome to another edition of Club and Country. Russ Thaler, Calen Carr here with you. U.S. coming off an opening match loss to Colombia in Copa America. And Calen, this is a bad stat for the red, white, and blue. Of the last 5 World Cups, similar format, only 10% of the teams that lost their opening match got out of the group. So what is staring the U.S.?
So you're saying there's a chance.
A small one for the United States and a familiar foe in Costa Rica up next.
Yeah, well, this is going to be, this is different. We're here in the U.S., right? And we've only hosted the World Cup once in '94, so you can compare it to the World Cup, but it's not quite the same. I think being able to play at home in front of your home crowd gives us a new lease on life in a way. A big opportunity missed against Colombia. I like playing the toughest team first. I think that was a big opportunity for us to really make a statement, enter the tournament the right way. That didn't happen, but returning to Chicago against a familiar side, Costa Rica, we're 5-0 in competitive matches at Soldier Field all time in Chicago. We won the 2007 and 2013 Gold Cup finals there, so some good memories. I think we'll see a team with a renewed sense of energy and urgency on Tuesday.
This will be the 34th meeting between the United States and Costa Rica. What does the U.S. need from this game?
I think a draw would be okay. It'll keep us alive. The only good thing about it is Costa Rica has Colombia in that last match, so you'd expect them to lose that. Paraguay probably the easiest opponent of the group, at least on paper. You never want to leave that to the last match, so I'd expect them to try and take care of business in this first one, but a draw will keep us alive. A win will put us in a good spot.
All right, Calen, let's bring in the armchair analyst, Matt Doyle, who joins us now via Skype. And Matt, I think a lot of people consider the United States to be the favorites in this matchup, but what kind of threat do the Ticos pose in this game?
Well, first, at home, the U.S. should always be considered a favorite against any CONCACAF team. If we're trying to pretend that we're not, then we have seriously regressed as a program. As for the Ticos, I mean, look, they're deep and they're organized, and they are not above a little bit of the chippiness that we associate with CONCACAF, and they're going to dive. And the U.S. have to be smart about that, especially with Joel Campbell. We saw it last time through in World Cup qualifiers. He was drawing fouls everywhere in the attacking third. He got a bogus yellow card on Matt Beasler that got him suspended. They use everything in their powers to make it just absolutely horrible to play against them. And honestly, we saw that in the opener for them against Paraguay. Neither of those teams was given an inch.
Costa Rica, masters of the dark arts. We know Kendall Waston, he's got a bit of a short fuse. We've seen that already this season with Vancouver, and we saw it again against Paraguay. Red card, and he's gone for this game. How much are they going to miss him?
I think they'll miss him a ton on restarts. They don't have a lot of size, and they don't have a lot of players who are just good in the air. Waston was their number one threat attacking-wise, and he was their number one defender on restarts as well. And they don't really have anybody who I think is a natural replacement for him. So once again, the U.S. have to do work on restarts. They didn't get it done against a Colombia team that I thought was susceptible. And Costa Rica will be, I think, a little more organized defensively on free kicks and corner kicks, but they can be had. So I think that's the big loss for the Ticos with Kendall Waston being out. That said, the guy is a smarter defender and a better defender from the run of play than he gets credit for. If it wasn't for the red mist descending, he would be, I think, a guy with a much higher international profile. But it is what it is, Russ. I mean, he got himself suspended from 2 different competitions at once. It's a pretty neat trick.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Calen and I are already talking about how often the United States and Costa Rica have played each other and how much they've seen of each other. Familiarity, we know it can breed contempt. What else might it bring to this matchup that could either help or hurt the United States?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how much familiarity Costa Rica will have with whatever lineup Jurgen Klinsmann trots out. And frankly, I'm not sure how much familiarity the U.S. players will have with that lineup. We've seen it in the past. He doesn't like to tell the players until the day of the game who's starting and in what formation and with what tactical responsibilities. So every time out, it's like, trying to build Rome in a day for the U.S. And that might actually, maybe it gives Costa Rica a little trouble, because They're probably not sure exactly whether it's going to be a possession U.S. team or a counter-attacking team, a flat 4-4-2, or the 4-3-3 game again in this game. I mean, there's only so much that you can learn from scouting the U.S. under Jurgen Klinsmann because, honestly, I don't think he knows until the guys are out there on the field exactly how they're going to play.
I think the buzzword is uncomfortable, and that could go for both teams. Matt Doyle, the armchair analyst. Matt, thanks a lot. You know, it's funny Matt should be talking about lineups and how we really don't know which way Jurgen Klinsmann's going to go with this, because Calen Carr and Simon Borg are over at the big board discussing lineups, what happened against Colombia and what they'd like to see happen against Costa Rica. Guys?
Thanks, Russ, and we'll get right to it. And the lineup the U.S. used in that 2-0 loss against Colombia. Calen, what would you change here for Costa Rica?
Not a thing.
How's that possible?
Nothing. I'm not changing anything. I can't tell you how many times I've been frustrated to see Jurgen Klinsmann over the years completely change the team sheet, especially in the back line. These guys need to develop partnerships, relationships on the field. These four, in fact, I wouldn't touch for the rest of Copa America.
The back
Just
four.
lock them in. Yes, they gave up a set piece or two and a couple chances maybe on the break, but otherwise completely solid. A couple tactical changes for you, Simon. Don't freak out. We've got a Bobby Wood. We want him closer to goal. We're going to allow him to get a little closer to Dempsey. These two can have a little bit of an exchange. Come on, Bobby, come inside. Clint comes outside, and we know he likes to drift. Bobby can occupy the center backs. And Jermaine Jones, he drifted way too far back. We've seen with the Colorado Rapids, he's much better in an advanced role. Don't worry about the stuff back there. Bradley will come here. He'll operate the little shifty stuff in the middle. And this is a different game, guys. We're playing against Costa Rica, Colombia, the number 3 team in the world. Baca, Cardona, Cuadrado. We're going to have better sustained possession, which is going to allow our outside backs, Yedlin and Fabian Johnson, to get forward in the attack. Same lineup, different result. It's not Colombia anymore.
You're going for stability and continuity. My strategy would be completely different. And it would focus on Costa Rica's weaknesses. And for that, I would opt for having runners, 3 runners, who can take advantage of the space that Costa Rica leaves behind their fullbacks. And I would go with Fabian Johnson, push him up from left back, have him here. Bobby Wood can occupy all the center backs all game long, and Alejandro Bedoya, very experienced at manning that wing position. And the 2 changes I would make: Edgar Castillo at left back. He's had a great season with Monterrey. He's quick, he's speedy, he can handle a guy like Joel Campbell that Costa Rica might throw out there. And then Darlington Nagbe, I'm going to bring him in central midfield because I think you need him to central midfield that can keep possession against a Costa Rica duo who are going to hound them, looking to dispossess. They can keep it and also launch accurate passes, because if you're going to take advantage of those spaces, you need the pass.
Wait, Simon. You're going to enter into a must-win game, like you said, without Clint Dempsey, his set pieces, his personality. He was the most dangerous player for the United States in their last game against Colombia, let alone his history with the squad.
This isn't a slight against Dempsey and his skill. I think you need to strategize against the team's weaknesses, because you have to have this game. And Dempsey can always come off the bench, especially if you're down and you're playing in the opponent's half. He's great in that type of situation. 2 very different takes. We'll see what happens Tuesday.
Guys, thanks a lot. It's the United States and Costa Rica coming up at 8 p.m. Eastern Tuesday night from Chicago. You can see the game on FS1 and on Univision as well. We'll be here in the MLSsoccer.com studios all tournament long. Jay Demerits joining us starting Tuesday ahead of that big game for the United States and Costa Rica. Special guests will be popping in and out as we go along. Susanna Collins is with the U.S. national team throughout the tournament. And follow us on Twitter at MLS, on Facebook, on Snapchat. I think Calen's on Tinder. We're all over the place. Thanks for watching Club and Country. We'll see you right back here on MLSsoccer.com.